If you're struggling with pornography or some other sex-related addiction, I'm going to share with you what I've learned after speaking with about 800 men and over 3,000 hours invested speaking with men who are addicted to these things, so that you can gain some new self-awareness and action steps that are non-negotiables that you need to know about and take action on. I've helped licensed therapists when they themselves are addicted, psychologists, doctors, lawyers, married men, single men, college students. And yes, about half of my clients are married men who have sexually available wives. And just because you have a sexually available, attractive partner does not mean your pornography addiction goes away. Oftentimes it gets worse, and things like pornography-induced erectile dysfunction shows up. We won't even go into that right now. But what I'm going to share with you is going to help some of that make sense. I have 4 things that you need to know about your pornography addiction or any other addiction, why what you've tried in the past hasn't worked, what's been missing, and what action steps you need to take action on. So let's jump into it, shall we? Oh, by the way, Jessica Jordan here. Welcome to the Redwood Forest, where I have natural lighting coming in. It may shift throughout the video. And I myself have overcome hypersexuality disorder that was induced from eating a naturally occurring seafood neurotoxin that put a 19 millimeter lesion on the left front lobe of my brain, extreme PTSD that also led me to be aware of unresolved childhood trauma, that also sent me on a 5-year recovery journey that almost took my life. And I also had suicidal ideations as a result of the things I was experiencing. And I also fell into something called love addiction, which is technically a self-abandonment for breadcrumbs addiction. And it has to do with oxytocin and dopamine combined. And I had early childhood experiences that made my oxytocin receptors and dopamine receptors extremely sensitive when they are combined together with an experience. And that can quickly cascade into something like a love addiction, combined with sexual experiences that quickly escalate to being highly addictive in the neurophysiology of how I am made up. My hypersexuality disorder from my extremely hypervigilant limbic system that I've now healed from all of it was tied into all of this. And so, if you don't know who I am, that's like super in a nutshell a little bit about my healing journey. And I'm in love with the whole thing. It's absolutely amazing. But let's shift over to the 4 things you need to know about for you, shall we? Number 1, pornography is not the problem, and it never has been. And you can remove the word pornography and insert any addictive choice that exists, anything, because this will apply to all of it, any addiction. Pornography is not the problem, but it does make all of your problems worse. You already know that. You've experienced that. So if pornography is not the problem, what is the problem? You see, far before you ever made your first addictive choice, addictive experience, there was some unresolved emotional wound that existed within your subconscious mind. This almost certainly, in nearly every case, began sometime in childhood, with or without your awareness, oftentimes without your awareness, because of our lack of knowledge of what these things can actually be. And you see, the prime directive of your subconscious mind is to keep you safe. So if there is a threat detected in your subconscious mind, in your neurology, in your nervous system, then your subconscious mind is motivated to make you take action to create the neurochemicals of safety. We call this the felt sense of safety. But oftentimes, we're doing this in a more harmful way that is addictive. So if a man, for example, is addicted to pornography, there's a high chance he might have subconscious low self-worth, fear of inadequacy, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough or doing enough or giving enough or earning enough. And pornography never rejects you. It never asks anything of you. It never expects anything of you. There's no chance of rejection, so that feels safe. But where does fear of rejection come from? Subconscious feelings of low self-worth, inadequacy, not being good enough, low self-compassion. Where does all that come from? Unresolved childhood emotional wounds. You could have been bullied as a kid. Or you could have had parents who loved the heck out of you, but they did not actually give you the thing that you needed as a child in order to anchor safety into your nervous system and subconscious mind. Real quick, this is called attachment theory. You're definitely going to want to know about this. I do teach about this. There are 4 attachment styles. Only one type is secure. Hardly anyone has that. The other 3 are trauma responses. Most people in the world exist in that category. And the amazing, beautiful thing is we can heal from all of it. But when someone exists in that category, it creates a perpetual lack of security in the subconscious mind. Lack of security, we can call that insecurity. Insecurity creates a stress response. That insecurity comes in the form of feeling inadequate, not good enough. These can create things like being a workaholic because you feel like you have to work super hard to produce amazing things in the world in order to feel loved, accepted, valued. And simultaneously, someone could be having the opposite of experience of hardly producing anything. Apathy, numbness, zero motivation, no creative thoughts, just can barely scrape by doing the bare minimum. Sometimes the same emotional wounds can create wildly different behaviors and responses within us. So pornography is not the problem. An unresolved emotional wound of the past existed within you before you made it your first addictive choice. The addictive choice rushed you with the neurochemicals that felt so amazing that it allowed you to temporarily forget about the pain that resided within you. And the subconscious mind said, that felt good. Let's keep doing that. We want more and more of that, more and more often, more frequently, with higher intensity. This is why addiction escalates. That thing becomes the addiction because your subconscious mind goes, I figured out how to not feel the pain. Do the addictive choice. Do the addictive choice. I figured out how to not feel the pain. But then the addictive choice makes all of your pain feel worse in the times when you're not engaged in the addictive choice or behavior or substance. So it's a resolving of the unresolved emotional wounds within you to create a sense of safety and security within your neurology, subconscious mind, nervous system, so that your nervous system can finally release its grip on the addictive choice that you've been making. And it's very likely that you have been addictively escaping the unresolved emotional wounds of the past. It's a type of pain, distress, discomfort, right? It's likely that for decades you have been choosing addictive escapisms to avoid that discomfort that resides within you. And in order to heal and move beyond the addictive experience, we must identify every single addictive choice that you have in your life, all of them, so that the discomfort can arise, so that you can feel it, explore it, get to know it, and allow it to experience itself in its full capacity. And this is how we resolve it. When we resolve it, we got to feel it to heal it. That's one part. And also shift your lens of perspective from the experiences that caused the pain. These are 2 things that must happen. I teach you how to do this. And when we do this, the first time you begin to do this, it's probably going to feel really scary because you've probably been avoiding that for decades. You've likely been on these addictive escapism patterns for decades to avoid whatever the heck is going on in there, right? You are a complex and beautiful being, and there's a lot going on in there. There's a whole universe of complexity and wonder that exists within you. Even the scary parts, even the painful parts. It's time to allow them to surface and love the heck out of them and experience them and know that you are safe the whole time. I teach you how to do that. Okay, porn is not the problem. Number 2, let's move on, shall we? It's impossible to recover and heal unless you have accessed the neurophysiological state called the felt sense of safety, And this must be your default operating mode that you are in most of the time. And also, most of your subconscious patterns and your belief systems and your lens of perspective and your self-sabotaging inner dialogue is creating an internal war zone within you. The neurochemicals that are stressful. And that's the felt sense of danger, right? That's a threat. You are creating a threat within you because of your own self-sabotaging thoughts that are not kind or loving or compassionate. And it goes so much more beyond that. But I teach you everything that you need to know in order for you to safely and appropriately access the neurophysiological state called the felt sense of safety, because this is a non-negotiable, the only state that you can exist in order to put addiction, the addictive experience behind you. Because we need to rewrite the subconscious programming of the patterns that currently exist in your identity that are shifting you away from the felt sense of safety. And we replace them with patterns that shift you into the felt sense of safety. And when you are in this state, this is where we do what's called the change work. You are changing your identity, quite literally. Did you know that anytime you even change a tiny little micro habit, you have now changed the identity of who you are? It's amazing, it's beautiful, it's empowering. It's empowering because you learn how much in control you really get to be when you understand the mechanisms at play in the subconscious mind and the choice that you have in the driver's seat to choose, select, and deploy what that's going to be within you. This changes how you show up in your life, both in your internal world, what you're experiencing, thoughts, emotions, internal experience, and the choices you make in your outer world that give you real life results. All of it. So I teach you how to access the felt sense of safety and what to do when you're there so that you can make the subconscious shifts that you decide that you want for yourself, so that you can step into the identity of the man who you want to be. It's a formula. This is formulaic. You do this and you do this, and then the result is this. It's a process. Every process yields a result. You plug in the parts of the formula to get the results that you want. I teach you how to do this. This is how I went from having extreme PTSD, childhood trauma, attachment style trauma, hypersexuality disorder, suicidal ideations and thoughts and plans, and love addiction, which is really self-abandonment addiction for breadcrumbs, for fear of abandonment and rejection. This is how I shifted from all of that into being an extremely thriving, vibrant, happy individual. This is available to everyone. Yes, including you. Yes, including you. You may be doubting that you can have this, but it's true. You get to have this if you choose to have it. Okay, let's move on, shall we? Number 3, shifting your relationship to the sexual experience. When you overcome pornography or any sex-related addiction, we don't just put your sexuality on the shelf, never to be touched again, right? We do those types of things if someone's overcoming alcohol addiction or cocaine addiction or substance addiction. But when it comes to your sexuality, this is a very real and important and valuable and beautiful and powerful part of who you are. And when you use your sexuality in the right way, it can be deeply healing and extremely empowering. This means we shift from shame about our sexuality into being in love with your sexuality, having gratitude for it. And so it is a shifting of your relationship with your sexuality. This is your thoughts and how you think about it, your choices and behaviors, and how you engage to enact this in your experience. By the way, about half of the men I work with are married men who have sexually available wives. A lot of men will falsely think that, oh, as long as I get a girlfriend, get a wife, get in a relationship where I have an outlet to have the sexual experience, a lot of men will falsely believe that their Porn addiction goes away. Usually they realize how bad it is because their porn addiction, one, gets worse. But number 3 is shifting your relationship to your sexual experience so that it's healing, empowering, and you have gratitude and love for your own sexuality. Plain and simple, non-negotiable. Anything shy of that, you're putting healing on the table. You're reducing your ability to feel empowered. And number 4 is the process, the actual process. It's a 3-step process. You don't need 12 steps, you only need 3. Now, as an NLP certified practitioner and someone who is deeply fascinated with the subconscious mind, I work deeply with the subconscious mind and I teach you how to work with yours so you get to work with your own subconscious mind. So what is this 3-step process? Detect, define, download. Detect, define, download. Detect. This is all about self-awareness. It's detecting every single self-sabotaging pattern, subconscious pattern that you have. We bring it to conscious awareness. You already have the conscious awareness of the addictive patterns that you have. But just because you are aware of it doesn't mean that you automatically get to change it, right? We'll get into that in a moment. But it's identifying every single self-sabotaging thought, action, reaction, choice, behavior, all of it. Right now, you have some awareness. We are going to massively grow your awareness. I've worked with men who have been doing the inner work for years and years and years. And then they come into the Leap of Courage program and they realize just how much self-awareness they had been leaving on the table. Because I teach you a process in how to become aware. I teach you a process into how to become significantly more aware than you have ever been. Buckle up and get ready for an upgrade. Holy moly, this stuff works. So, detect every self-sabotaging part of your identity that you no longer want to have as part of your identity. Number 2, define. You define what you want each new pattern to be instead. You define what each new pattern will be instead for your new identity. This is going to be choices and actions. This is going to be thoughts. So, for example, if you have a self-sabotaging thought, likely you have that thought as a pattern. When circumstance A shows up, self-sabotaging thought A shows up to match it, right? But what if the new pattern was a thought that helped to activate the felt sense of safety in your neurology rather than a stress response? What does that do? It significantly allows you to access the neurochemicals of motivation, of creativity, of happiness, of safety. And you are now much more likely to be a better problem solver. You have higher levels of creativity. You're getting more work done with less effort. You're enjoying your day moment to moment. And a big part of these shifts that take place is your lens of perspective, which shifts your neurochemical emotional response to things so that you can activate the felt sense of safety, so that you can accomplish more with less effort, have better relationships with the people you care about in your life, and access the neurochemicals that give you the emotions that allow you to feel good. This is what we do. This is a way of life. And the third D, download. So we have detect, define, download. Download is, let's download the new subconscious programming into your subconscious mind so that whatever you defined for yourself as the new way that you want to show up, it actually exists in your subconscious mind in the operating system of who you now are. Because if it's not, then you're using willpower the whole time. If you're just using willpower the whole time, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It might work for a short time and then it's going to fail. And you're going to feel resistance the whole time. Unless you download it into the identity of who you are. Because if it's just who you are, it doesn't take effort. You're not experiencing resistance. You're just being you, doing you. That's the sweet spot, right? That's the sweet spot. It doesn't mean you don't need discipline in your life. It doesn't mean that you're not using effort in your life. But it means that the real version of who you are and you get to show up as, in the way with the least resistance, is the exact man who you have defined yourself who you want to be. And you now are him through downloading the subconscious programming with the change work that we do, while being activated in the felt sense of safety. So detect, define, download. I've been teaching this since 2019. Most people are trying to use sheer willpower, which works for some of the time and feels horrible the whole time. Willpower works some of the time and feels horrible the whole time and will always lead to failure. But when we just simply rewrite the subconscious programming through very effective methods and strategies to help you access your own subconscious mind in a state with lowered resistance and surrender into you telling yourself to be the person who you want to be, and you just get to now be that man, watch every part of your life get better. Watch every part of your life get better. So if you are ready to take the leap of courage and join the men who have already been successful with this, I'm opening up my doors right now to let the committed men join, where you get to become the most empowered version of yourself. This is the journey of a lifetime, and I promise you will fall in love with this journey. You will fall in love with yourself. You will fall in love with the wounded parts of yourself as you heal through them. You might not believe me, and that's okay. Because my words are not going to be the most important influencing factor. But the thing that's going to convince you more than anything is the experience you receive as you go through this process. The most convincing thing for you is the experience you receive as you go through this process. Allow that to be the convincer. Allow that to be your convincer. If you want an invitation into the program, you and I can have a one-on-one Zoom call. And it's like a two-way interview, right? I'm getting to know you a little bit more. You're getting to know me a little bit more. And we're figuring out if we're a good match for each other, for me to be your coach as a person who guides you through this process. And I'm asking you questions to figure out if you truly are committed to this process. And when you are, I invite you in. When I know that you will absolutely be successful with this without a shadow of doubt, that's when I invite you in. There's also a brotherhood that's waiting for you within the tribe, the Leap of Courage tribe. There are many ways in which you can communicate with the other men in there and interact and engage and feel supported. And you have a whole heck of a lot of autonomy and agency with how you choose to navigate through the Leap of Courage experience, where I have a deeply comprehensive and online course for you that you can access anytime. And also, we meet every single week in a live group coaching session. You can have your camera on or off, microphone on or off. I never call on you unless you raise your hand. We always start with wins and celebrations. Absolutely incredible. And then we do a little workshop so you can access the depths of who you are to a deeper level with self-awareness and knowing then which action steps to take on that self-awareness. And then if you want, you can participate in the small group breakout rooms that we have on the Zoom. Men only, brotherhood in there. And you get to discuss in groups of maybe 3 to 5 men in the breakout rooms in Zoom if you choose to be a part of it. And you have a discussion on the workshop all together. Then we come back and anyone who wants to share can. Every step of the way is optional. You can participate as much or as little or not at all as you want to. It's set up in a way to feel safe, to be safe. You can use an alias name if you want to use a fake name in there. You can do that as well. All right. For those who are brave, committed, and ready, I will see you on a Zoom call. And remember, being ready doesn't mean eliminating fear. That's where the courage comes in, right? If courage is present, it also means fear is present. And that's okay. That's okay. Wherever you're experiencing fear, that's the opportunity for a breakthrough. Wherever you're experiencing fear, that's the opportunity for a breakthrough. Lean into it. Surrender into it. It's going to take courage, right? And trust yourself to know that you can navigate through the fear with your courage and support, because all of that is available to you. All of it. All right, I will see you on a Zoom call, and I suggest right now in this immediate moment to do it, because if you let even 5 minutes go by, chances are you're going to let 5 hours, then 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months go by. And that's the pattern you've been stuck in, right? It's time to do something radically different. And I'm here for it. So I will see you on that Zoom call. I have some very big and exciting changes happening behind the scenes. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be offering these calls for, but it appears as though things are going to be shifting and growing in really phenomenal ways. So in this little window of time where I'm still available for these calls, you might want to get it in now. All right. I'll see you. And if you're already my client watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We've been talking about it in Bravery Bootcamp, our weekly group coaching sessions. So, all right. I'll see you on the inside.